If you've ever shouted at your smart speaker from across the kitchen to add coffee to your grocery list.
Right, while your hands are completely covered in flour or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. While you're baking, you probably just thought of it as, a handy little shortcut, just a minor convenience.
A fun little feature.
Yeah. But a new industry report we are looking at today shows that in that exact moment, you are actually participating in an $80 billion economic shift.
Which is just a massive number.
It's totally wild. So today, we're going deep into the data on voice commerce for this deep dive.
We really want to figure out how a technology originally designed purely as a vital accessibility lifeline basically morphed into this mainstream juggernaut.
And more importantly, I think, we want to map out what this means for the future of how you, the listener, interact with the digital world.
It really is a fascinating trajectory,
Yeah.
honestly, because, we're so conditioned to think of major tech trends as these top-down marketing initiatives.
Oh, for sure. Like some boredom in Silicon Valley decides we're all going to use a new gadget.
Right. And then they spend, billions of dollars in advertising trying to convince us that we absolutely need it.
But the data we are looking at today shows that the rise of voice commerce is, well, the exact opposite of that.
Completely. It is a massive behavioral shift that bubbled up entirely from necessity.
Which is so interesting.
It is. And once you understand the mechanics of how and why this happened, it completely reframes how you look at the evolution of the internet.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the idea that the best way to spot the next massive tech trend isn't by looking at the shiny new toys,
Right.
but by looking at who is currently being overlooked is just such a compelling premise.
It's a total paradigm shift.
So to understand what voice commerce is today, we really have to look backward at its origins. The source material highlights what it calls the accessibility playbook.
Right, the accessibility playbook.
Voice commerce wasn't engineered for, a multitasker in a kitchen.
No, not at all.
It was built specifically for people who couldn't easily type on small screens, or people who couldn't read text on a monitor due to visual impairments.
Or folks who had motor impairments that made navigating a traditional website with a mouse incredibly difficult.
Exactly.
When a traditional interface presents this insurmountable physical barrier,
Yeah.
engineers have to create an alternative pathway.
They have to build a workaround.
Right. So voice was designed to bypass the visual screen and the tactile keyboard entirely.
It was a functional necessity.
Yes. It wasn't a marketing gimmick at all.
There's actually a quote in the report that I think captures the human reality of this perfectly.
Oh, the Josh Basil quote.
Yeah, from Josh Basil. He's the community relations manager at Accessibam. He notes, and I am quoting directly here, "Voice commerce is incredible because without it, I'm often locked out of even having a chance to shop independently."
That's powerful.
He goes on to say, "With it, I gain access and a sense of freedom."
The phrasing he uses there is so important. Access and a sense of freedom. Because he isn't talking about saving 30 seconds on a grocery order.
Right, like we do.
Exactly. When a mainstream user utilizes voice commands to add paper towels to a shopping list, it's a nice-to-have feature.
Just a convenience.
But for someone with a severe motor impairment, voice commerce is the difference between needing to ask a caregiver or a family member to buy personal items for them.
Which takes away all their privacy.
Exactly. It's the difference between that and being able to do it entirely on their own, privately, and on their own schedule. That is life-changing independence.
I mean, I'm looking at this pattern in the sources, and it immediately makes me think of closed captioning.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Right. Captions started specifically and pretty much exclusively for deaf and hard of hearing television viewers.
Mm-hmm.
But today, captions are everywhere. You see them on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, on YouTube.
They're ubiquitous.
And the vast majority of people watching those short-form videos with the captions turned on aren't deaf.
No, they're just watching on mute while commuting on a train.
Exactly. Or they're sitting in an open-plan office, or they just process information better by reading along.
Right. It's just easier.
So it makes me wonder, is accessibility essentially just an uncredited R&D department for mainstream convenience?
That is highly accurate, actually. I mean, it all comes down to the mechanics of friction.
The mechanics of friction.
Yeah, there is a fundamental rule of design at play here. When you remove friction for a specific group, you inherently remove friction for everyone.
Because friction is a universal constant.
Exactly. Think about an architect engineering a door to open automatically to accommodate someone in a wheelchair.
Okay.
That same door also opens automatically for a parent pushing a stroller.
Right.
or a delivery worker carrying a heavy box.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes total sense.
The same exact principle governs digital spaces.
Yeah.
What starts as an inclusive feature built specifically to remove a hard barrier for a targeted population almost always migrates.
It migrates into becoming a mainstream baseline.
Precisely. It evolves from an accommodation into an expectation.
But I have to jump in here because when you say mainstream baseline, the report claims that nearly 50% of U.S. consumers now shop by voice.
That's what the data says?
And I'm honestly struggling with that number.
Really? Why is that?
Well, when I think of voice shopping, I think of low-stakes reordering, like dog food, coffee, batteries.
Right, the consumables.
Yeah. Are half of consumers really making substantial purchases this way, or are we just counting glorified grocery lists and calling it commerce?
It's a totally valid skepticism.
Yeah.
And you are right that the adoption curve begins with low-stakes consumables.
Okay, so it does start there.
It does, but the data shows that behavior is evolving rapidly. Once a user establishes trust with the system.
Like once they realize the voice assistant actually ordered the correct brand of coffee 3 times in a row.
Exactly. Once that trust is there, they start moving up the complexity ladder. They start ordering electronics, apparel, and even booking services.
Wait, apparel by voice.
Yes. And the economic reality backing this up shows that this is no longer just a niche habit. It is a dominant modality.
And the growth curve the report maps out is just staggering. I want to read these numbers because the progression is wild.
Go for it.
Okay, so in 2021, worldwide voice shopping revenue was $4.6 billion. By 2022, it jumped to $9.4 billion. In 2023, it hit $19.4 billion. In 2024, it reached $39.8 billion.
Just keep scaling.
And in 2025, it is projected to reach an estimated $81.8 billion.
The market is roughly doubling annually for 5 consecutive years.
That's insane. But here's what confuses me. Look at what is happening on the ground with early adopters.
Right, the e-commerce leaders.
Yeah, among e-commerce leaders who have actually implemented fully functional voice commerce, 58% of them report that more than a quarter of their total orders are initiated through that channel.
25% of order volume.
Yes. Yet, despite this compounding growth, and despite an $81 billion projection, it feels like the vast majority of companies still treat voice commerce as an experimental side project.
They absolutely do.
Are these businesses just asleep at the wheel while the market doubles around them every 12 months?
They really are. There is a massive disconnect in corporate strategy right now.
Why do you think that is?
Well, many decision makers still view voice as a futuristic novelty rather than a present-day utility. Think about the risk calculation from a business perspective.
Okay, I'm thinking.
If you manage a platform or run a retail operation and you aren't actively building out your voice architecture, you aren't just missing out on a trend.
You're losing money.
You are potentially failing to capture 25% of your addressable order volume.
Wow.
And when you fail to capture that efficiently, you end up capturing it inefficiently.
What does inefficiently look like in this context?
It looks like frustrated customer service calls or high return rates because the user couldn't properly navigate your visual site.
Oh, I see.
So the core question for businesses is no longer, is voice worth investing in? The question is, how much of this $80 billion growth curve are you willing to forfeit to your competitors while you wait?
Okay, let's unpack this technically for a second. If people are buying more than just paper towels,
Right.
if they are actually navigating complex catalogs to buy apparel or electronics without looking at a screen, the underlying system needs to be incredibly precise.
Highly precise.
How does a machine actually know the difference between a $10 shoe and a size 10 shoe?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right, like what mechanically makes a digital space genuinely voice-ready?
This is where we have to look under the hood at how machine crawlers actually process data.
Okay.
When a human developer builds a website for other humans, they rely heavily on visual cues.
Like making the price of an item large, bold, and red.
Exactly, they put a dollar sign next to it. A human brain instantly processes those visual cues and understands, okay, that is the cost.
But a voice assistant doesn't see that.
No. Whether that is Alexa, Siri, or Google, it doesn't see large, bold, and red. It just sees a raw text string.
So if it just sees the number 50 floating in the code, it has absolutely no idea if that means $50, 50 items left in stock, or a 50-inch television.
Exactly. And that ambiguity is what breaks a voice commerce experience.
I can imagine.
This is why becoming voice ready requires what developers call proper semantic markup.
Semantic markup. What is that exactly?
Semantic markup is a way of structuring the underlying code using specific schema tags so that a machine crawler doesn't just read text, it reads context.
Okay, so it explicitly labels the data.
Yes. It tags the number 50 as price. It tags the word blue as color.
Yeah.
And it tags in stock as availability.
Ah, okay.
It makes the relationship between all these data points entirely unambiguous to a machine.
Okay, I get it now. So it operates almost like a universal translator at the United Nations.
That's a great way to put it.
It doesn't matter if the end user is relying on a screen reader, a voice assistant, or eventually an AI. If the original language, like the core code, is structured perfectly with those semantic tags, every single device pulls the exact correct message.
That is a brilliant analogy, and it highlights the most critical insight in this entire report.
Which is?
The exact same clean semantic code that helps a screen reader understand a website for a visually impaired user
Yeah.
is exactly what helps a voice assistant understand the site. They are relying on the exact same universal translator. It is not separate work.
Wait, really? It's the same foundation.
The exact same foundation.
It's like pouring one foundation for a house. You don't pour one foundation for the plumbers and a totally different one for the electricians.
Perfect comparison. Clean, accessible code serves everyone.
Which means businesses have been looking at accessibility completely wrong this whole time.
Oh, completely.
They view it as a chore. They frame it as this defensive, compliance-driven cost center something they just have to do to avoid litigation.
Precisely. And framing it that way is a massive missed opportunity because accessibility work compounds. Well, when you invest in building clean semantic architecture, you are doing three things simultaneously.
Okay, number one.
First, yes, you are mitigating your litigation risk.
Sure.
Second, you are providing that vital independent access to users with disabilities, which immediately boosts your conversion rates.
And third.
Third, you are laying the exact foundation required to unlock this hyper-growth $81 billion voice commerce channel.
Wow.
It transforms accessibility from a legal checkbox into the ultimate future-proofing strategy.
So if that universal translator is already feeding structured data to voice assistants,
Yes.
it stands to reason that those same data feeds are what large language models are utilizing to understand the digital world.
You're connecting the dots perfectly.
The sources actually draw a direct line from this current reality of voice commerce into the impending shift toward AI chat search.
They do.
Are we moving toward a world where a traditional website isn't even the primary storefront anymore?
We are already there. The paradigm of the visual web, where you type a URL, scroll through a grid of products, and click a button, is being rapidly upended by AI agents.
That's kind of terrifying.
It's definitely a massive shift. The concept of the storefront is becoming invisible.
The numbers detailing this shift are just mind-bending. According to the data, nearly 1 billion prompts a day are currently going into AI chat assistants.
1 billion a day.
And more importantly, over 1 billion monthly referrals are already flowing from these AI assistants directly to actual websites.
Right.
People aren't just using AI to write emails or summarize articles anymore. They're using it as an engine for commercial discovery.
Think about what that user journey actually looks like now.
Okay.
Instead of a consumer spending 2 hours cross-referencing 5 different hiking blogs, opening 20 browser tabs, and manually comparing prices to find the right gear.
Which is exactly what I did.
Right, which takes forever. Instead of doing that, they just give the AI their parameters.
Like,
They say, find me the best waterproof hiking boots under $100, available in a size 10. They can ship by tomorrow.
but for the AI to actually fulfill that prompt, to give you a real answer, it has to cross-reference product descriptions, real-time inventory, and pricing across thousands of sites instantly.
Exactly.
It can only do that if the data it encounters is structured with that exact semantic markup we just talked about.
Exactly. If your company's data isn't meticulously tagged, the AI simply skips you.
It just ignores your website.
It has to. It cannot read your site, so it assumes you do not have the answer. It functionally erases you from the interaction.
So does being invisible to an AI assistant matter just as much as being invisible on page 10 of a Google search today?
Honestly, I would argue it matters significantly more.
More. Why?
Well, with traditional search engines, a persistent user might theoretically click through to page 2 or 3 of the results if they really want to.
That's true.
But an AI chat assistant doesn't give you pages of links. It gives you the single best synthesized answer.
Oh.
If you are not in that specific recommendation, You do not exist to that consumer.
That is brutal.
It is. The future of product discovery relies entirely on your systems being readable by AI agents.
And the only way to make them readable is by utilizing the accessibility playbook.
Yes.
Yeah.
If your digital presence isn't built with that clear, unambiguous structure, you won't just lose out on voice shoppers.
You'll be entirely invisible to the AI assistants that are poised to take over the vast majority of the internet's search traffic. It really alters the way you view the entire digital landscape.
It really does.
I mean, what started as this highly specific, vital tool to give independent shopping freedom to users with disabilities
Right.
ends up fundamentally rewiring an $80 billion global market.
It's incredible.
It basically proves that building inclusively isn't just about corporate social responsibility, it is the architectural blueprint for innovation.
It is the ultimate competitive advantage, truly. For anyone listening, whether you are a consumer enjoying the frictionless experience of modern tech, or a professional trying to map out a strategic roadmap for your organization, understanding this link is crucial.
Absolutely.
It shows you exactly where the digital world is heading next. We are moving rapidly away from forcing the user to adapt to the constraints of the machine,
And moving toward what?
moving entirely toward machines that seamlessly adapt to the context of the user.
It is such a profound shift. And it leaves me with one final thought I want you, the listener, to mull over today.
I love these.
We have just tracked how removing basic accessibility barriers to digital shopping created a compounding multi-billion-dollar revolution that is now feeding the AI landscape. So the next time you are looking at your phone, your computer, or your smart home setup, take a look at the other highly specific so-called niche tools built into your devices right now.
Right.
What accessibility feature are you using today, maybe without even realizing its origins, that might entirely replace the way we all interact with computers tomorrow?
It is definitely something to think about the next time you are shouting across the kitchen to add coffee to your list.
It has been an absolute pleasure unpacking the mechanics of this with you today.
Thanks for having me. It was a great conversation.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you on the next one.